One of the most common questions we get from new players is whether to start with electric or acoustic guitar. When it comes down to it, you'll need to learn the basics no matter what guitar you pick. So go with whatever excites you the most. Okay, let's start with acoustic. Let's talk about some pros. With acoustic guitar, it's super easy just to pick up and start playing like I did right there. There's no setup required. Also, you don't have to fuss with equipment. You can just grab and go. There's not a whole lot. There's just the guitar. Now, the acoustic sound really fills the room nicely. It's very natural, organic sound, projects throughout the room. It's really great. It's also super portable. You can bring it anywhere, go to the beach, take it to the campfire, do some strumming and singing with friends, or you can take it to a friend's house, really wherever. If you're traveling, it's really easy to just stick it in a gig bag and go. It's also really good for songwriting. It's easy to strum chords, sing along. If you know some basic chords, it's really great for that. Now, for the most part, you're not going to have any issues with volume either. You can play it most any time without disturbing your neighbors or your family. Now, it's also a lower cost to get started if you just get a basic acoustic guitar to start out with. You also have no need for amps or other accessories. You might need a tuner, but really that's about it. Okay, now let's get into a few cons. Now, it may be a little bit tough on your fingers. Steel string acoustic guitars especially can hurt at first. So depending on the string gauge, it could be harder to press down. It can also be quite difficult to know the right size of acoustic guitar to get. Body types vary quite a bit, so finding the right fit for you can be a little bit more difficult. Now with acoustic, you're also going to get somewhat of a limited tonal variety. What you hear is what you get pretty much. And also with acoustic, it's a lot harder to play lead guitar. Techniques like bending and vibrato are quite a bit more difficult on acoustic. Now, the reality here is that a guitar is a guitar. You still got to learn it and tackle all the basics. If you're drawn to acoustic music and maybe you aren't ready for certain things that electric guitar specializes in, then acoustic is for you. If it excites you more than electric, then that's your answer. Go with acoustic. Okay, let's talk about electric guitar. Super fun and inspiring. You've got endless creative possibilities here. You're going to get wildly different amount of tones from the acoustic guitar. You can get clean, to distorted, Now with the electric guitar, it can also be a little bit easier to fret in certain cases. It's just slightly due to lower action on strings, so the strings are a little bit lower. So it makes it a little bit easier. Also, the strings can be lighter gauge, so they're a little thinner than acoustic guitars as well. Now with electric guitar, generally you're going to have a smaller body, which is easier to hold, especially for smaller players. Now with that, I will say sometimes electric guitars can be quite heavy. They can be a little heavier than acoustic. Now with electric, it's also great for lead playing. So all those bends, also vibrato. All of these techniques that are known to lead guitar playing, much more suitable with electric guitar. Now, the cool thing about electric guitar is you also can practice very quietly. You can plug in headphones into your amp or whatever setup you have, and essentially you're just going to get a quiet sound, but in your headphones, you're hearing the electrified sound. So that's a really nice thing. Now, on the other hand, you can also crank it and get really loud, possibly disrupting your neighbors and your family. Now with electric guitar, there's a bunch of effects that you can use as well. There's pedals, there's floorboards, there's all sorts of things that can open up unlimited sonic exploration. Okay, let's talk about a few cons. With electric guitar, it can be a tough learning curve to get a good sound. It takes quite a while to dial it in. Now also, electric tones can be quite unforgiving. Mistakes are way more obvious, and those close to you may get annoyed a lot easier. You also have more equipment to deal with. So you got amp, you got cables, possibly some pedals. So there's a whole lot more going on. Now also, strings are closer together, so there's not as much space between them. Now this can be tough for some, especially those with larger hands. Now it's also not as accessible to pick up and play. You gotta plug it in, you gotta set it up. So it's not as easy as an acoustic guitar to just pick up and start playing. Now also, sometimes it might be a higher initial cost because you need the guitar plus the amp at minimum and some cables as well. Now the other thing with electric, it can be quite overwhelming. There's a lot of knobs on the guitar itself. There's a lot of settings to figure out, and it's just maybe a little bit option overload for beginners. Okay, real quick, to find more in-depth lessons on both acoustic and electric guitar with complete beginner to advanced guitar learning, click the link in the description below for a free ultimate beginner guide that includes an essential chord chart, a practice plan, a walkthrough of some beginner pitfalls to avoid, and a whole lot more. Back to the lesson. Okay, now the reality, again, if the electric guitar speaks to you, I say go for it, follow your muse. If you're looking for no hassle learning, maybe go with acoustic. If you're excited to jump into all the different things that electric guitar can do, then go for it. Okay, and now a little pro tip, best of both worlds scenario. If you're truly torn, you can buy a hollow body electric guitar. There's also a wealth of other guitars that split the difference. They're super playable and fun. Okay, here's my practical advice. Go to a guitar store and try a bunch out before you buy. You want the guitar to feel right before you purchase. Also, follow your excitement, what type of music moves you most, and then don't overthink it. The worst thing that can happen is you hate it, and you sell it and try the opposite. Now remember, both paths lead to the same destination, becoming a guitar player. Whether you start acoustic or electric, you'll be learning chords, scales, rhythm, and all the fundamentals that make for great guitar playing. All right, I hope you choose the one that makes you want to pick up the guitar every day. Many great players eventually end up owning both guitar types anyways. So think of this as choosing your first guitar, not your only guitar. And be sure to enter your email for a free beginner guitar guide linked in the description, or you can find it on the next screen. All right, I'll see you later.